This week's narrative. All right, this week's narrative, Twitter polls.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
All right. This week's narrative,
I was talking to you.
Twitter polls.
Yeah, I'm leaving that in, Mike. Fuck you.
All right, fuck you guys.
No,
Twitter
here we go.
polls matter. So had a lot of controversy last week. You know, someone put out like a bracket of like Twitter analysts. I don't even know why we ever do these things, but we do them. And there's a scandal. You know, someone accused, the Andropolis of cheating. It was probably some random nerd decided to hack the vote. But, you know, made me think a lot about Twitter polls, not just for Twitter analysts, but, you know, everyone loves putting trade polls out on Twitter, right? You know, I just did this trade. Which side you got, Twitter? First of all, I don't fucking rely on Twitter to, like, get any of my own trade advice because I'm going to introduce a simple economic concept to you guys. It's called leading indicators versus lagging indicators. A leading indicator in economics is predictive of has predictive properties of future economic output, right? So an example of that is bond yields, right? Bond yields is viewed as a future indicator of the economic output because bond traders are constantly betting on what the economics are, so they influence the yield curve of how things work, right? So that's a leading indicator. A lagging indicator is like unemployment rates. You know, as people are getting fucking fired and they lose their jobs, everyone's like, holy shit, the economy sucks. So in my opinion, Twitter is a lagging indicator. It does not tell you what's going to happen in the future. What it's going to do is tell you what's already happened in the past. If you put out a trade and the Twitter hype machine is saying, oh yeah, dude, like you won that trade or you lost that trade, like that player's value has already, progressed to the point where you can no longer act on it. Whereas a leading indicator would be like listening to Noah, Nick, and I. You know, we'll tell you, hey, look, we think this player is going to be good. And based on ADP, they're going too low. And as you see that price go up in the future weeks, that's kind of how the leading lagging indicator works. So don't rely on Twitter polls. That's my opinion. Do you guys rely on Twitter polls to tell you if you made a good trade or not?
Mike, you could have saved me about $60 on Chegg if you gave me that speech like 2 months ago. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes is that if you're looking at numbers, you're looking backwards. I think you pretty much said that in a bunch of paragraphs, but that's a good way to put it. You know how fucking sick and twisted my mind is when I put a Twitter poll out about a dynasty trade I did. If the side I traded for, like the guys I got, won, I'm like, fucking right, I won because I made the best trade. If the guys I lose, I'm genuinely like, I faded the public. Like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. So I want, like, in my mind, it's not even like I win every single time. Like, no matter what the fucking end result is, no matter what the audience says. So no, it doesn't matter. Like, because I fucking win every time. That's my take on it.
Dude, the wildest thing happened to me this past season. Some guy DM'd me. He goes, should I start? I don't know who it was. It was just, let's just say Calvin Ridley or DJ Chark. So I respond to him like, DJ Chark. But he linked me a poll. He goes, sorry, you don't have to tell me. Just vote in the poll. So I go and I vote for who I told him in the poll. And that week, like DJ Chark, whoever I told him to go for had like 20 points. The other guy had like 5. And he came back. He's like, man, I should have listened to you and not the poll. What's the point of asking somebody for their opinion and then going back and tell them that you didn't follow the opinion because random people online clicked a random button? I don't get the polls. And I honestly don't get that poll that was out there where people were like, man, I don't give a shit about this, but why are they doing it this way? Like, if you don't care, then don't care. If you do care, then fine, care about it. But don't play both sides.
People just want affirmation. That's it. That's what the polls come down to.
Yeah, look, as the GOAT fantasy counselor says, you don't want to listen to the sheeple because the sheeple are the ones that are voting into those votes. What you want to do is pick a couple guys that you trust. You know, maybe that's me, Noah, maybe that's Nick. Hopefully it's us. If it's not us, you know, pick someone else that you trust and just like hone in on people that you trust, right? Like Twitter polls are useful to the degree that, you know, I guess mock drafts are useful in that they're kind of entertaining to see like how people think. But really, they really should not inform your decision on what you do and make trades. It could be like hindsight, like you said, like lagging indicators are still useful because it tells us what's happened in the past and like kind of why it happened. You can kind of see in the public Twitter sphere, like, you know, so-and-so is like getting hyped out of control and you can see like why that's happening, but hopefully you would have acted before then. You know, the perfect example of that is like DJ Moore, right? You know, if you were all in on DJ Moore, you know, which some of us were, like you were kind of overpaying for him and a lot of the trades you would have done might have been overpaid, but now 1 year later, it's no longer an overpay. So you want to find leading indicators. Do not get trapped with sheeple lagging indicators. It is not a way to win dynasty. But what is a way to
should we just do an entire narrative, next week's narrative about the fantasy football counselor?
Yeah, definitely.
Only using the word sheep.
Is he the GOAT or not?
No, he's the sheep.
Entire narrative.
He's definitely the GOAT.
Hundo.
But yeah, guys, look, that's all we got for you guys. The narrative. Hope you found it helpful. We're coming back to you with a bunch of videos coming up. Make sure you get the Big Dogs Draft Guide. Make sure you become a Patreon and join the freaking Discord. I hear a lot of people are still asking me for my bylaws. Those are in there in the Discord. Just join up in the community. There's going to be a lot of leagues. We're going to be putting out premium content. And, dude, make sure you follow me. Make sure you follow Noah. Make sure you follow Nick. Make sure you subscribe to Bunkbed Breakdowns for all the future videos. Make sure you subscribe to BDGE for all the dope videos as well. And, dude, we'll see you.